Welcome to Yogaroo Online. So this is class 5 of session 2 of Move and Restore. So the next session, session 3, will start on the 16th of July, and I will send you the details in the email to this recording link on how to get a special summer discount for those session of 5 classes. This week, I thought I'd give you a little treat of just a lovely feel-good flow, a little bit of everything, a little bit of balancing, lots of standing, and then one of my favorite, and definitely from the feedback I've got from you, your favorite restorative poses at the end, reclined Badikanasana. So let's get started. Starting as usual on all fours. So what we're going to do for this one, I'm going to talk you through just a very simple child's pose flow. But what I'm going to do is help you to get a little bit more depth out of the flow by calling out the areas that we're kind of squeezing and working, just to give you a kind of a journey of the sensations of the poses. And then we'll flow. Then we'll let go of that and we'll just flow. But it's just an interesting way to get you to tap into the inner senses, so the inner felt senses of the body, to start to kind of settle onto your mat and start to really absorb yourself in your practice. So we're going to start on hands and knees. Have your knees hip distance apart and your legs directly coming out of them. Even though we're coming back into child's pose, keep your feet in line with your knees there rather than bringing the toes together, because we're flowing. Exhale, just press back to child's pose, but keep it an open chested child's pose. We're not very well warmed up, so it's probably nicer to do this version. So can you actively press your hips back towards your heels, or the space between your heels there. They might not come all the way back, it's early in the morning. Any sort of kind of tightness in the hips here and the upper back there, or the lower back there, will have you maybe hovering a little bit off the ground. But the idea is to press back. Now use your hands, plant it down on the mat, fingers spread nice and wide, press into your hands to gently encourage those hips back towards your heels. Open the chest here. So make sure we're staying nice and open through the chest, feeling that collarbone smiling there up towards the top of your mat. Let's take it into a side stretch. So keep the hips pressing back, particularly that left hip there. Start to walk your hands off the right side of your mat now. Walk that left fingertips up and forward until you feel a nice stretch through the left side of the body in between each of the ribs. Press that left hip back more actively now towards your left heel to just get a little bit more intensity in the stretch, or more of an anchoring down so that the hip doesn't follow you and you lose the stretch. Walk back towards the center of your mat, and then we'll go to the left side. So walk the hands over to the left side or off the left side of your mat. Anchor down now through that right hip now. Reach the right fingertips up and towards the top of your mat there. Feel that lovely stretch, particularly here, since we're taking it into a kind of nice open version of child's pose. You'll feel like a nice stretch in the armpit of that right side and all the little muscles in between each rib. And all the way down the right side of the body, actually a nice little stretch through the waist, the right waist and the right outer hip here. Walk back to center again. Now plant your hands down nice and firmly there. This is where we're going to come back up to all fours. We're going to do it really slowly and observe the muscle actions that help you to come back up. So press your shins actively into the ground there before we even start moving. Hug those outer hips towards the midline. So if you're not familiar with that alignment cue that I use quite a lot, it's the idea of squeezing the buttocks muscles, squeezing those glute muscles really strongly so that the whole bottom of the body from the waist down is really active here in this, what looks like a very passive pose. With that activity, lifting the pelvic floor on your next inhale, very slowly now, feeling those muscles working to lift you. So they're the things that are lift you, coming up to all fours. Squeeze the outer hip, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the pelvic floor lifting, and then coming back up to all four. On your exhale, we're going to keep that engagement in the glutes, pressing the legs down into the ground. We're going to include the core here by lifting the spine up towards the ceiling. So coming into our cat pose. So really keep squeezing those outer hips, adding the core in, lifting the pelvic floor. So hopefully you're really feeling what's acting here to take these very, very simple poses. Inhale, we soften the back of the hips, we soften the glutes, or soften the belly, and let it gently tilt the pelvis down towards the ground to come into our cow pose. And this is our inhale, but continue to breathe here. So what's the front body is softening, which means the back body is working. So really feel those shoulders drawing back towards the back of the hips there now, as the muscles all along the spine activate to bring you into this back bend. Then we're going to come back down to child's pose. So with this one, we're back into those glutes. Squeeze the glutes, press the shins into the ground, press the hands into the ground, and really slowly, as slow as you can, press the hips back towards your heels there now. And also just noticing the slower you move, the more the muscles are really working hard to hold you in space. So we're taking the kind of the cardio element of just flinging the muscle or the body around the place into holding the body in space by muscle activity. Okay, we're going to go through that again a little bit more with the breath. We're not quite so slow, and I'm just going to cue those areas that I talked about before as you move, just to remind you where you possibly are feeling it. Okay, so on our next inhale, pressing the hands into the ground, squeeze those outer glutes, lifting up to all fours on your inhale. Squeeze, 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 pelvic floor, glutes. And then exhale, adding the core in. Keep squeezing the glutes, add the core in, lifting the spine up towards the ceiling. Then softening the glutes, softening the belly, let the pelvis tilt forward. Squeeze the back there and the whole length of the back as you come into your back bend. And then exhale, squeeze the glutes again. Glutes, 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 back to child's pose. Okay, we'll flow through that one more time. I'm just going to, this time, cue the breath, and hopefully you might remember a few of those little things that we're squeezing. Inhale, up to all fours. Exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale, let the belly soften, pelvis tilts forward. And exhale, back to child's pose. One more time. Let's get a little bit of movement going now and continue to find the muscle activity. It might not be as magnified, but just a sense of which muscles are helping you to move. Inhale, up to all fours, glutes. Exhale, into cat, core. Inhale, into cow, back, lumbar. Exhale, back to glutes, or back to child's pose, glutes again. And then inhale, back up to all fours. We're going to take it off the mat. We're going to pivot that right foot off the right edge of the mat, reach the left leg away from you here. And inhale, reach that right arm, or the left arm up. So press into the right fingertips, feel that lovely line of energy from the right hand all the way to the left fingertips. And equally, that line of energy between the left toes and the tip of the crown there. On your next inhale, lift that left leg any amount. So it might just be an inch or two off the ground, or indeed you can leave it on the ground if lifting the leg is just too much on that hip. And then exhale back to all fours again. Okay, we're going to go through that warm-up flow now on the left-hand side. So starting in our exhale in child's pose. Exhale, squeeze the glutes, lift the pelvic floor, press the hands into the ground. Use them to help guide you through this. Inhale up to all fours, glutes. Exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling, core. Inhale, let's soften the belly down towards the ground, lumbar spine. Exhale, glutes, back to child's pose. Inhale up to all fours again, glutes. And then we're going to pivot the left foot off the left side of our mat now. Reach the right leg away from you and reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. Press into that left hand now. Feel the energy up to the right fingertips. Press into that right foot. Feel the energy to the tip of the crown. On your next inhale, lift that left leg or right leg. Left leg would be very hard to lift, any amount. Press through that right heel now and reach through the tip of the crown here. On your next exhale, circle that right hand down, back to all fours. Okay, we're going to come all the way down to the ground now. Do a little bit of work to warm up the spine and the front and the back body again. So coming into Sphinx Pose, forearms on the ground, elbows right underneath the shoulders there, fingertips grounded down, and the forearms are coming straight directly out of the elbows there. Okay, so that's your planting down. You're also going to plant down through the bottoms of your legs there, the knees and the tops of your feet. We're going to lift the pelvis up on our exhale, just getting a little bit of core activation going. Inhale here. Let's take a lovely big inhale as we lengthen through the spine. Press your hands into your mat there and claw the mat towards you as you stretch through the skin between the belly button to the center of the sternum there, the center of the chest. On your next exhale, start to peel the spine up and lift the pelvic off the floor. So this is it. We're pressing into our forearms, the tops of our knees and the tops of our feet here. The pelvis is lifted off the ground. It's a heavy bone. So that being lifted off the ground is using all the muscles between the shoulders and the knees are active here to lift that heavy pelvis. Breathing for 3, breathing for 2, breathing for 1, and then exhale to come back down again. And we're going to do that 2 more times. So press into your forearms. On your inhale, reach the chest forward, lengthen through the belly button to the center of the chest there. On your next exhale, start to peel the spine up, peel the pelvis off the floor, any amount. So you are spreading through the collarbones there. We're coming into a little forward tilt of the upper spine. Press the forearms into the ground, the knees and the tops of the feet here. Breathing for 3, breathing for 2, breathing 1 more time, and then exhale gently, slowly with control. So this whole class really is about the control of the transition movements and the muscles that are working to control them. Okay, inhale 1 last time into Sphinx Pose, broaden through the collarbones. So feel the shoulder blades draw together on your back. So lovely little bit of movement and working with the tissues that surround and hold the scapulas of the shoulder blades at the back there. On your next exhale, peel the spine up, peel the pelvis up off the ground, press into the forearms, press into the tops of the feet and the knees, breathing for 3, breathing for 2, and 1. Exhale, come all the way down. We're going to keep moving. You're going to lift your arms up, reach them towards your feet, lift the legs up too, and breathe an inhale here. And an exhale. 1 more breath. Inhaling and exhaling. Circle the hands around either side of your chest, elbows hugging in. Lift yourself up slowly to tabletop position. Let's take a really gentle, so not your full range of motion, cat-cow here. So just bringing a little bit of movement into your pelvis and your spine, but don't go to your full ranges of movement because you've been working quite strongly there with the core. So we don't want to do anything too dramatic now with our cat-cows. Okay, so that's our warm-up flow. And what we're going to do now is get our warm-up flow, the start and the end, and we're going to sandwich in the middle of it a standing flow. So coming with me, we're going to start off in Child's Pose. And here's your exhale. Set yourself up nicely. Make sure your fingertips are spread nice and wide. You've got a lovely open chest here in your wide open collared Child's Pose. Exhaling here. Remembering that glute action. So before you even start moving, start to squeeze the outer hips to the midline. Lift the pelvic floor here and really slowly as you inhale, come up to all fours. And then exhale, add the core in, keep the squeezing of the glutes. Exhaling, lifting the spine up towards the ceiling, coming into our cat. Inhaling, belly softens, glutes soften. The back, the whole of the back contracts. Cow. And then exhale, glutes, 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 pressing you back to Child's Pose again. Keep the glutes, keep the pelvic floor. Inhale, lifting back up to all fours. And then exhale, we're going to pivot that right foot off the mat, reach the left leg away, reach the left arm up. So coming into our gate pose. On our inhale, we're going to reach the left arm overhead, lift the left leg up, squeeze the back of that glute there. And then exhale back to all fours again. Now we're going to add our standing flows into this before we take our Shavasanas and our Sphinx poses. So on your next inhale, come up onto the fingertips to give yourself a little bit of space. Step that right leg forward just inside the right hand. So make sure now we're going to end up stepping forward. So we want to make sure your feet are nice and wide to hold you. Tuck the left toes under. On your next exhale, step that left leg forward and folding down. Inhale, coming up halfway. So hands to knees there. Reach the chest forward. Find that nice broadening and the smile through the collarbones there. Exhale, folding down again. Inhale, press into your feet. Big toe mound, little toe mound, center the back of the heel. Feel the legs wake up when you do that. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of side bending here. It's a nice little flow that I've been doing during the week. So pour all your weight into your left foot, hands on the hips here. We're going to pick up the right foot and just bring it behind to the side of the left foot and just simply reaching over to the left side. So left hand on left hip, right arm reaches up and over, and then inhale back to right foot. Pour all your weight into your right foot now and lift the left leg up. So simple little flow. I'll talk you through it again. Bring the left leg down, step the right foot behind the left foot, reach the right arm up and over, and then bring the right foot back to its position, ground into the right foot, lift the left leg up. Okay, let's see what our breath is doing. We're inhaling. Okay, so inhale, step the right foot behind the left foot, come into our side bend. Exhaling, ground the right foot back down, lift the left leg up. A little bit of balancing. Last time, just because it took a while to get used to it. Inhaling, step left foot behind, right foot behind left leg, side bend. Exhaling, ground back down to the right foot, lift the left leg up. Okay, and then we'll continue to flow actually with the right leg lifted. We're going to inhale here and then exhale, step that right leg back into arrowhead. So making sure that the feet are nicely wide on your mat there now. Inhale, reach the arms up high. So let's have a little look at our legs here now in our hip positions for our standing lunge. Looking for those hip bones to be lifted up. A little bend, a little micro bend in that back leg is always good at the start of your standing poses until this area warms up, and then you can start to reach that heel away, but not at the expense of the pelvis tilt. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And then on our next exhale, we're going to pivot the feet around to the side of our mat and come into goddess pose. So we're going to be doing a little bit of pivoting at the feet around this, just to mix it up a little bit. So don't worry too much about the exactness of the positions of your feet. It's just we're coming into a flow as long as your feet are at a 45-degree angle and you can press your hands together and come into your version of goddess pose. Okay, so the flow is high lunge and then goddess pose. So inhale, pivot the feet around, reach the arms up high again, right leg forward. Exhale into goddess pose. So pivot the feet 45 degrees, goddess pose. Inhale to the front of your mat, high lunge. Exhale, side of your mat, goddess pose. And we do that one more time. Inhale, front of the mat, high lunge. Exhale, side of your mat, goddess pose. We'll just travel back to the front of your mat. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, hands to the side of the front foot and just stepping it straight back to all fours. Okay, so that's our first standing flow. We're going to do that on the left side. Oh, hold on. We need to do our second part of the warm-up that we sandwiched the flow into. We're going to come all the way down to the ground now. We're going to inhale into Sphinx. So lengthening through the whole spine. Remember this one that we did. We're just going to do one round of these. This is our inhale. And then exhale, we're going to peel the spine and the pelvis off the floor. Lift the spine up towards the ceiling, press into your arms, your knees, the tops of your feet. And then exhale to come back down again. Inhale into our Shavasana locust. reaching the fingertips back towards your feet, legs lifted, and then exhale back to all fours again. Let's take one round of cat-cow here. So inhale, belly softens towards the ground, and exhale, lifts the spine up towards the ceiling. Now we finished the first side of our flow. We're going to completely bring that all the way through to the second side now. Okay, so we're starting with our warm-up flow, which was a child's pose flow where we squeezed our glutes. Okay, so press your hands into the mat there. Press your hips back towards the back of your heels there. Ground your hands down. Start to squeeze into the back of the hips there. Squeeze the glutes, lift the pelvic floor. Keep that squeeze and move slowly with it to make sure you don't lose it as you come up to inhale to all fours. Keep the squeeze the glutes. Exhale, add the core. Lift the spine up towards the ceiling. Soften glutes and core. Let the belly soften towards the ground. Squeeze the whole back there into our back bend. Exhale, glutes again. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the glutes. Press towards the back of the heels. Keep the glutes squeezing. Inhale, back up to all fours again. Now you're going to stay where you are. I'm going to pivot so you can see me. We're going to pivot the left foot off the side of your mat, reach the right leg away, reach the right arm up here. Inhale, reach the right arm overhead, press the left or the right heel away from you, and then exhale back to all fours again. Inhale, we're going to step that left foot just to the inside of the left hand. And on your next exhale, step the right foot forward, folding down. Inhale, coming up halfway, press into your knees, reach the chest forward, and exhale, folding down. Inhale, remembering grounding down into those feet, really find the strength of the legs, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Okay, we're going to do our side bends, bending to the right this time. So hands to the hips. Inhale, step the left foot to the outside of the right foot. Reach the left arm up and over. So left arm up and over. Yeah, lovely. And then exhale, ground the left foot down. Lift the right leg up, okay? Great. And then bring the right leg down. On your inhale, step the left foot outside the right foot. Reach the left arm up and over. So we're bending to the right here. Left arm up and over. Great. And then exhale, come back to standing. Ground into the left foot. Lift the right leg up. So a little bit of balancing work. We'll do one more then. Yeah, great. Okay, right leg down. On your next inhale, left foot to the outside of the right foot. Reach the left arm up and over. Left foot comes back, ground into the left foot, lift the right leg up. Great. Okay, and then come back. Oh no, keep that right leg lifted. Inhale here, and then exhale, just step that right leg back, making sure you're nice and wide on your mat, left to right on your mat there, because we're going to do standing flows here. And we're in our arrowhead, so the arms are reaching back. Inhale to reach the arms up high here. And then exhale, to the back so you can see me. Exhale, we're coming into our goddess pose to the side of our mat. So the same flow, second side. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Into lunge, the front of your mat. Exhale, side of your mat, goddess. Squeeze those hips again there now. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Pivot those feet around. Don't worry too much about where they are as long as they're just pivoting to facilitate the movement. Exhale, pivot the feet, ground them down into our goddess pose. Inhale, front to the mat again. We're coming into our high lunge. Exhale, hands either side of the front foot and stepping back to all fours. We're coming down to the ground now for our little bit of core activation here. So coming all the way down on your exhale. And then coming into Sphinx Pose on our inhale. So always nice to take a little breath in Sphinx Pose to make sure that you have a lovely broadness through the collarbones. You've reset yourself before you move again. And then on your exhale, lift the pelvis off the ground, lift the spine, feel the shoulder blades spread across your back there. Core, 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 pelvic floor. And then exhale to come back down again. On your next inhale, reach the arms back, lift the chest up, add the legs, locust. Gaze is just forward of your mat. Don't have too much extension in your neck. And then exhale, circle the hands around. Hug the elbows in. Lift yourself up to all fours. Let's take our 1 or 2 rounds of cat-cow. Just be very careful with yourself now. We're just easing out any little bits of tension that we've caused by moving and working those muscles, which is completely natural. Okay, we're going to go through that again, and I'm going to swap out our little middle 2 standing flow bits with a different flow, but we definitely have time to do it one more time. Okay, we're going to try and move purely with the breath now and get a little bit more of a meditative flow going for our last round right side, last round left side. So starting in child's pose on our exhale. Inhale up to all fours. Exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling, cat. Inhale, soften the belly down towards the ground, cow. Exhale, back to all fours again. Press those hips towards your heels. Inhale, back up to all fours again. Exhale, pivot that right foot off your mat. Reach the left leg away. Reach the left arm up. Inhale, left arm overhead, left leg lifts. Press through the heel here. Exhale, back to all fours again. Inhale, step that right leg just to the inside of your right hand. Exhale, step the left leg forward, folding down. And we're going to come halfway up now. Inhale, press into your knees, reach the chest forward, bend the knees if you need it. Exhale, folding down, let the whole body drape and flow over your legs. Inhale, press into your feet, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Side bend to the left 1 time. Hands to hips. Inhale, left foot to the outside of, or right foot to the outside of the left foot. Reach the right arm up and over. Feel that lovely stretch. And exhale, come back to Tadasana. Ground into that right foot. Lift the left leg up. Inhaling here. Exhale, step that left leg all the way back to the back of your mat there, nice and softly with control. Reach the arms back, arrowhead. Inhale, reach the arms up high here. Exhale, we're going to do something slightly different here. We're going to pivot to the back of our mat, bend that left knee and reach the arms forward, the left arm forward and the right arm back. So I'll go through that again. Inhale to the front of your mat for lunge, which you're familiar with. Exhale, we're going to pivot all the way to the back of our mat, bend the left leg, reach the left arm forward and the right arm back. It's called kind of skater pose. Okay, we do that one more time. Inhale to the front of your mat into our high lunge. Exhale, pivot all the way to the back of the mat, bend the left knee, reach the left arm forward and the right arm back. We need to just travel back to the front. So inhale all the way back to the front of your mat. Exhale, hands either side of the front foot, step it back to downward dog. Coming all the way down to the ground, we're going to take one round of our core activation. So inhale here, Sphinx Pose. And then exhale, lift the spine up and lift the pelvis up. Press into your forearms, your knees, and the tops of your feet here. On your next inhale, come down to the ground, reach the fingertips back, reach the legs, lift, lift. And then exhale all the way back into all fours. Take one nice round of cat-cow here, just to reset, get ready to do the last round on the left side now. Okay, so from here, one more time. Exhale, back to child's pose. Glutes. Glutes and pelvic floor. Inhale, slowly, slowly, slowly. With your inhale, lifts you back up to all fours. Adding the glute in. Exhale, lift the spine up towards the ceiling. Inhale, soften core, soften glutes. Spine active here for our cow pose. Exhale, glutes, glutes, glutes. They're your brakes. Think of your glutes as your brakes as you press back to child's pose. Inhale, keep the glutes, add the pelvic floor, back to all fours again. In our exhale, pivot the left foot off your mat now, reach the right leg away, reach the right arm up here. Inhale, reach right arm overhead, lift that left leg up, press out through the heel, reach through the fingertips. Exhale, back to all fours again. Now coming into our last bit of standing flow. So on your next inhale, step the left leg just to the inside of the left hand there now. Exhale, step the right leg forward, folding down. Inhale, coming up halfway, press into your knees, reach the chest forward. Exhale, folding down. Exhale, all the breath here. Inhale, press into your feet, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Side bend to the right now, press into that left foot or right foot, step the left foot to the outside of the right foot, reach the left arm up and over, side bending. On our exhale, we're going to ground through the left foot, lift the right leg up, any amount. Ground the right foot down now, step the left foot to the outside of the right foot, left arm up and over. Oh, I've snuck another one in, we're only supposed to do one. And then exhale, coming back round the left foot and lift the right foot here. Take an inhale here and exhale, step that right foot back, nice and wide on your mat now. Remember, you need the width left to right for a high lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up high here. We're going to come into our skater pose to the back of the mat there. So you're inhaling in your lunge here. Exhale, pivot the feet around to the back of the mat, bend that right knee, reach the right arm forward and the left arm back. Inhale, circling the arms, using this movement, coming back to the front of your mat and to the back of your mat to explore the full extent of your limbs here and the kind of, the pliability of your stance and your little bit of balance there as you challenge yourself. So inhale, reach the arms up high again. Exhale, pivot to the front of your mat, or the front of your mat again, coming into our high lunge. Exhale, coming into our skater pose. I've probably gone wrong there because so you are now, let's start in front of our mat and high lunge. I got mixed up there because I pivoted around to make sure that you could see me. So we're all at the front, facing the front of our mat and high lunge now. Pivot to the back of our mat and take our skater pose. Inhale to the front of our mat one more time. Exhaling to the back of our mat to our skater pose. Inhale, back to the front of our mat. Exhale, hands either side of the front foot and stepping it back to all fours. Let's just take one more round down on the ground for our little bit of core. And then we are ready, very much ready for our restorative part of our practice. So coming into Sphinx, press into the forearms, broaden through the collarbones. Inhaling here. Exhaling, lifting the spine up, feeling the shoulder blades spread, lift the pelvic floor, feel the full core, 360 working here. Coming all the way down on your next inhale, reach the arms back, lift the chest, add the legs if you want. Breathing. On your next exhale, hands either side of your chest, lift yourself up and back into all fours. 1 or 2 rounds of cat-cow here. Let's do 3 rounds just to complete our movement part of our practice. Gently moving with our breath, remembering the inhale is when the belly is softening down towards the ground, and the exhale is where the spine is lifting up towards the ceiling. And feeling those 2 actions, maybe a little bit more subtle this time because we're beginning to just let everything relax. But the idea that in our cow, with the belly softening towards the ground, the back of the spine is working. In our cat, the front of our spine is working. So the opposites are happening. One is stretching and the other one is strengthening. Okay, and let's just come down all the way onto our back now. I'm going to take it into our restorative part of our practice, starting with constructive rest that we are becoming nice and familiar with now, hopefully. So let's bring the feet mat distance apart. The knees are knocking in together, just the most energy efficient way to hold the legs in space. Let's have the palms facing up now, a little bit of space between the arms and the hands. Let's start to let the breath come back to its natural rhythm. I can certainly feel all the circulation going in my body, which is great. And now we're going to gently bring it back to balance, homeostasis. So as you come to the gentle, silent, introspective part of your practice, can you notice all the energy, the heartbeat? Maybe you feel a pulse, or just the kind of the afterglow of moving strongly through your body. Okay, so bring the feet here, hip distance apart. Plant the arms tightly in against your hips there. We're just going to do 1 or 2 flowing movements of coming up into bridge and back down again. So inhaling here and then taking an exhale. On your next inhale, press your hands, your feet, and the tops of your shoulders into the ground. Just lift the spine up into a nice low bridge, just like a sloping bridge from the knees to your chest. And then exhale, coming back down vertebrae by vertebrae. We'll do 3 rounds of that. Maybe when you come down, you even tilt your pelvis forward. That can feel lovely on the back of the pelvis there. When you come down to the ground, at the end part of your down, you tilt the pelvis forward. And then you tilt it back, inhaling to lift the spine up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, coming down vertebrae by vertebrae, maybe tilting the pelvis forward if that feels good. On your next inhale, pelvis tilts back, lifts up. Last round. Squeeze, reach the knees away. And then exhale, coming down towards the ground, vertebrae by vertebrae. Let's take a diagonal stretch. So reach the legs away, coming into a star shape. Arms overhead, legs reaching towards the bottom of your mat. Reach through your left toes and your right fingertips. So a nice diagonal stretch through the body. Find that point of the body where the direction changes, so somewhere around your belly button. And then let that just come back to center again. Reach through the right toes and the left fingertips, diagonally through the opposite side of the body. And let go of that, let the whole body just recoil back to its natural star shape. And taking a deep breath here. Bend the knees, place the feet on the ground, bring the arms down either side of the body again, rolling over to your right-hand side, using that left arm to help lift you up to a seated position. So we're going to get ready for Badikanasana. So have your props there, and we'll start to build our most comfortable Badikanasana using all our props now. Okay, so if you have a look up towards me, you are going to have your brick on its medium height. So that's that width at the top of your mat. And then its flattest height, which is the completely grounded version, in front of that. You're going to pop your bolster across the both of them and just pat it down. Make sure you're happy that it's nice and sturdy. And then we're going to pop 1 blanket at the top of that there for our head. And we're going to make 2 blanket rolls and a foot wrap. So we're going to bring it into your most luxurious version of reclined Badikanasana, bound ankle. So let's see, where was I? So take it into a 4-fold, fold it 1 more time, and then roll it up. So I'll show you the finished thing as well, just so you can get an idea of it's about that wide. So we're going to wedge that at the outside of our hips there, so that there's no muscle action in holding the legs in the Badikanasana shape. So that's your 1 row, and then we want to do the same thing with the other side. So taking it from a 4-fold, which is a folded once, folded twice. We're going to fold that again and then roll it up. Now, it doesn't have to be an exact science as long as you end up with 2 rolls of similar size ready either side of your bolster there. Our final blanket, you're going to open it up into a 4-fold, and you're going to place it down at the bottom of your mat there, and place your feet on top of it. So have it ready in the position that it's kind of that your feet can be wrapped inside it. And we're going to tuck the blankets around when we're ready, to make a wrap for the feet, which again secures the ankles and makes sure that there is no effort in the legs as you recline into your restorative pose. So grab your blanket rolls and wedge them nice and firmly up underneath the tops of your thighs there. You've got the back of your hips, a little bit of space between your hips and the bolster there. So come forward if you need to. You want to make sure that your bolster doesn't collapse, and you want space for the pelvis to tilt back a little bit so that it's not hitting the bolster at a very high position. So I need to move my bolster forward a little bit. Okay, and then get your second blanket roll, do the same thing on the right leg or the opposite leg there. So I have them like really wedged underneath, just kind of the very top of my thigh there, so that there's very little effort in my legs to hold them in the Badikanasana shape, and the Badikanasana shape being soles of the feet together. A little bit of space now. You don't want those feet too close up towards your pelvis there. So we have this blanket, just to remind you, I have it in a 4-fold there, and then I literally folded it over my feet. I'm going to take the ends, so either end of my blanket there, wrap it underneath my calves, in between my legs, and then just pull it forward until you've got a little bit of traction between your legs, or between your feet and the front there. So I'll go through that again. 4-fold, fold it over again, so you've made a little kind of sandwich around your feet being the filling. Take either end of that blanket there, I'm putting it in between my legs, under, the other one under, here's between my legs, and then I'm going to lift those two edges up nice and firmly until the feet feel that they're being kept in space, and you can pull them through. It just depends whether your blanket is long enough. As long as the feet feel nice and secure. Getting ready to come down now. Hands either side of the bolster there. Lengthen, always lengthening through the spine before we come into anything. And just gently bringing down the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, onto your bolster, making sure you're happy that the bolster is nice and secure. And then letting the back of the head just hit that blanket pillow that you made at the top of your bolster there. Maybe adjusting those rolled blankets, make sure that they're really holding the legs up. There's no effort going into it. If it's too much of a stretch, you wedge them higher, or else you make your blanket rolls thicker. Add more underneath those upper thighs there if there's too much of a stretch going on in the inner groin. And just letting the arms hang out of their sockets there. This lovely opening through the front of the chest as the shoulders just so gently drop over each side of the bolster there. Palms facing up and settling into our main restorative pose of our restorative practice. And coming back to the breath again. Can you travel down with the breath? Feeling that cool air in the skin inside your nostrils as it fills your lungs and fills your belly. And the warm air on the exhale as it releases, the belly contracts, the lungs contract. Feel the expansion of the inhale. The contraction of the exhale. energy of the inhale, the grounding of the exhale. Notice how your breath has adjusted now in that short period of time between our movement practice and restorative. And that's the power of the restorative for yoga to help you come back to balance. Can you soften the skin across your forehead? Feel a wide, expansive space between your temples. Feel the skin across your cheekbones soften, the eyes heavy in their sockets, the jaw gently slackening. And your whole body following their lead and releasing. And checking in with any little areas that you know that you habitually hold tension. And just making sure that they are able to soften. And if they are tensed, gently in your internal dialogue, give them a bit of encouragement to soften. And settling into a little bit of silence now. Always coming back to your breath to help bring you back to your practice, to help ground you. And particularly focusing on your exhale, which is where the parasympathetic nervous system sits. And every now and again, doing a scan through your body to make sure that everything is still happy and adjusting. One of the most important things in restorative is to adjust if you find there is something that needs a bit of attention. So whether that's adding more blankets, moving the positions of your legs, you are the boss of your practice. And getting ready now to move out of this pose. I'm just starting to get the idea of moving in your mind before we even start to move. Maybe even grounding the hands down either side of the body. Gently lifting the knees up. In fact, using the arms outside or the hands outside the legs, maybe help to lift the knees up. Maybe even reaching the legs away from you for a breath. And planting the hands either side of the bolster to lift yourself up gently to a seated position. And just moving your rolled up blankets out of the way. You can leave that blanket at the bottom of your mat there now. We're just going to take it into a simple twist. So take the blanket away from your bolster there. Remove the 2 bricks from under your bolster. Come onto your right hip there, or your left hip there. We're just going to take a gentle twist. So inhale, lengthen through the spine, reaching over the bolster. And then exhale, bring yourself down vertebrae by vertebrae over the bolster. Bringing the left cheek onto the bolster, forearms either side of the bolster, and the legs are both bent, left knee above the right knee, right leg reaching away. So what can feel nice is for the left foot to gently press on the top of the right thigh there. And feel this lovely stretch now through the side of the waist, the back of the hips there. All these areas that we've worked through in our movement practice. I'm going to get ready just to move over to the other side. So press your hands down either side of the bolster. Lift up to seated. That are the most easiest way is just to bend both knees here and windscreen wipe them over to the right side. So you're on your right hip now. You have your right hip up against the bolster. Inhale, lengthen through the whole spine. And then exhale, gently place yourself over your bolster. Come down onto your forearms. Come onto your right cheek now. And feel that lovely stretch now through the left waist, the left hip, the left side of the body. Taking some nice restorative breaths here. See, can you continue in the vein of those lovely restorative, cultivating a deep breath here in our twist. Really letting the belly swell with the inhale. It needs the space because we're twisting through the spine. Really feel the breath in the belly in the twist. Ground your hands either side of the bolster now. Inhale to come up. And then we're going to get ready for our Shavasana. So always good, even though you might have your favorite restorative pose, it's always good to come down into a nice symmetrical grounded Shavasana. So you can decide what's your favorite version. We can certainly add a few props in as long as we're nice and equal. So I'm going to pop the bolster underneath my knees there, and I'm going to add in a blanket roll for my neck. So just a reminder, we haven't done a blanket roll in a while, I don't think. So it's just 1 or 2 little rolls, so it's not very high. Pop it at the top of your mat there. Come down onto your back. I'm just making sure that the neck roll is literally just filling the space between the ground and the curve of your neck. It's not lifting the neck in any way. It's literally just supporting it, filling the space. Palms facing up towards the ceiling. A little bit of space between your arms and your body. See, when you find this lovely symmetry between left and right side now in this pose. Are your hip bones equally pressed into the ground there, or is the pelvis equally pressed into the ground? Does it feel symmetrical with the two shoulder bones there? Are you stacked even in this lying position? Does the back of the right heel feel equal to the back of the left heel? Is there a sense of equal pressure between the left and the side body, or the left and the right side body? So let's see, can we find that equal pressure in left shoulder blade, right shoulder blade, left upper arm, right upper arm, left hip, right hip, back of the left knee, back of the right knee if you're on a bolster, or back of the left calf, back of the right calf if you're on the ground. Back of the left heel, back of the right heel. It's as if you were to draw a line directly down the center of the body, both sides would be equal. Getting ready to come back into your day now, bringing a little bit of movement into your fingertips and your toes. And just gently talking yourself back into your day. So gently giving yourself a little bit of space to reintegrate into your day. So in your own time, rolling over to your right-hand side and using your left arm to help support you. Head comes up last, slow as you can. Coming into a comfortable seated position, hands in prayer position at your heart. Palms to your third eye, to your lips, to your heart center. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me. So that was session 5, and you can sign up for the next session, which starts the 16th of July, and I hope to see you then.
Thank you very much.